start with our Deputy Party Leader 2, Honorable Amadou Ka. And then we have Honorable Omar Sise, the MP for Nyamina East, and he is also our spokesperson. And we also have Honorable Alaji Sow, Jimara constituency. And we have our party president, who is Honorable Henry Jao. And then we have our National Women Mobilizer, Honorable Remijan. And we also have our head of VI company, Honorable Yafatu Suare. And we also have Honorable Fatou Bass, the Foreign Secretary 3. And all the media houses here present. And also Honorable Ibu Cham, who is our national organizer. And we also have most of our executive members here with us. We appreciate your coming. Thank you all for being here. And to all the media houses, thank you for answering to our call. Notwithstanding, we would like to go into the program proper. I would like to give the floor to Honorable Omar Sise to elaborate on the main purpose why we are gathered here today. I will give him the floor. Honorable Omar Sise, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, the Director of Press of the Gambia Democratic Congress. First, let me start by greetings each and every one of you. On my far right, we have Madam Bass, who is also in our mix. Next to her, we have Mr. Ibu Serakunda, and next to him we have Madam Suare, and next to her we have no other person but a colleague, a cohort, who is Honorable Alhaji Sow, the MP for Jimara constituency. And on my far right, we have Auntie Reme Jain. We equally have Henry Jao, who is the party president. And finally, we have the Deputy Party Leader number 2. I am so delightful again to extend my greetings to all the media houses that are here present. And of course, by way of extension, I wish to extend my greetings equally to all the other executive members who are actually on the other side. It is a very important day for the Gambia Democratic Congress, and we have gathered here today not for any other purpose, but just to talk about current issues that are happening within the Gambia Democratic Congress and other issues that are happening within the country, that is state of affairs. The presentation or the press briefing will be in 2 phases, one of which will be the recent and dismissal of the 2 National Assembly members of the Gambia Democratic Congress, who is Honorable Salih Jao of Jokadu and Honorable Keba Jallo of Jara Central. There are so many things that have been said regarding the dismissal. To be precise, yesterday in the National Assembly, we will give elaboration what led to the dismissal and some of the synopsis or the points that they have given or advanced in relation to the Gambia Democratic Congress. Again, we will be talking about current issues that are happening in the country that will be discussed by the Deputy Party Leader number 2, who is Mr. Amadou Khan. However, we will want to go in for the local language for the purpose of this press briefing, because I feel that the information that we are going to send, we expect this information to go far and wide. And for that, the most affected people, as long as the message that we are going to give is concerned, is the people at the grassroots. And most of them, you will agree with me that they cannot speak the English language that you and I will use for communication, for official communication. So I will apologize for any inconveniences, but this message is going far and we want everyone down there to understand what we are coming to say. mbokk yi jërë ngeen jëf waxtaan bi tey waxtaan bu am solo la nuyu naa ñi nga xam ne tey ñoo fi teew ñëpp waaye damay nuyu executive bu G.D.C comme tuddal naa seen tur yi ba pare damay nuyu itam media houses yu nga xam ne ñoo fi nekk muy taskati xibaar yi suñu daje bi fii lu am solo la dajewuñ fi ngir dafa am kuñ bugg a tuumaan dajewuñ fi ngir dafa am kuñ bugg a jam xeer dajewuñ fi ngir dafa am ki nga xam ne nii den koo wax lu ñaaw dajewuñ fi ngir saaga kenn ndaxte G.D.C fi ko xam xameewuñu si wax lu ñaaw xameewuñu si indi fitna xameewuñu si wax li nga xam ne askan bi duñ ko dégga te mënuñ koy gëm kon ñun lépp li nga xam ne ñu ngi koy wax rek den koo teg ci lu wér den koo teg ci li nga xam ne képp ki nga xam ne dégga nga ko di nga xam ne lii muy waxtaan bi si G.D.C la jóge kon waxtaan bi dina doon ñaari fan na yi mooy benn bi si doon mooy am na ñaari député yu nga xam ne bokkoon neen ak ñun parti bi ñu gën ko xamee si honorable Keba Jallow mu nekk député bu Jara Central ak honorable Salif Diawo mu nekk député bu Jokaab daaxaneel leen si parti bi dinañ leen leeralal lan moo sababu daaxa bi su ko defee it dinañ waxtaanee si beneen boor bi li nga xam ne la réew mi nekk di doxee loolu kon suñu député parti leader number 2 muy Amadou Ka mu nekk suma boor nii dina leen eggee waxtaan boobu noonu waaye dafa am solo balaa ñoo dugg si biir waxtaan bi sori si ñu wax jaar-jaar yi nga xam ne tey Gambia Democratic Congress si jaar-jaar yooyu noonu la jaar Gambia Democratic Congress dafa doon parti bi nga xam ne 2016 leen sampa parti bi before election muy presidential election parti bi sampa leen ko si jamono bi nga xam ne jamono boobu dëkk bi muy Gambia bugga neen wecceeku am si biir dëkk bi fii Gambia Democratic Congress mu dina si mu wane ne Gambian si am neen right pour choose political party bi nga xam ne nii foofu nga bugg a nekk waaye am neen right tam pour kenn ku nekk si ñun mu sampa parti pour uti li nga xam ne mooy nguur gi pour jéem a doxal réew mi kon Gambia Democratic Congress si jamono boobu leen koy sampa waaye bañ koy sampa buñ fàtte ne bari na li nga xam ne ni tey am neen ko amuñ ko woon si jamono bañ ko doon sampa benn si yooyu Gambia Democratic Congress bañ ko doon sampa àndul ak benn député including myself bañ doon samp parti bi Omar Cissé nekkutoon député si parti bi bañ doon samp parti bi honorable Alaji Sow nekkutoon député si parti bi bañ doon samp parti bi honorable Salif Diawo nekkutoon député si parti bi bañ doon samp parti bi honorable Keba Jallow nekkutoon député si parti bi ak ndem si yàlla honorable Demba Sow yal na ko yàlla xare aljana moom itam nekkutoon député si parti bi kon lii yëpp dafa doon li nga xam ne Gambia Democratic Congress gëm-gëm bu nit yi am si ñoom liggéey bi nga xam ne leen nekk di defar Gambian si ak dëggu bi nga xam ne la parti bi dugg ak jàmm bu ñu nekk di oote ak li nga xam ne yéeneel neen ko dëkk bi loolu moo tax ñu am liñ achievement yi yëpp si diggante bi si loolu kon Gambia Democratic Congress shortly just after the presidential election am neen 5 députés leen amoon si biir parti bi waaye loolu tam yokku na ñu move ñu dem si council election ñu am 25 councillors across the country ba loolu passé tem mostu am waaye Gambia Democratic Congress amoon neen benn chairman si biir Gambia fii so achievement yi yëpp nga xam ne ñun opposition political parties leen waaye lii nii yëpp mostu am si biir réewi Gambia fii opposition political party boo xam ne dem nga election nga am percentage bi nga am si presidential election muy 17%. We have existing parties long ago before the existence or establishment of the Gambia Democratic Congress. But shortly before election, when the party was established, we were able to pool at least 17% of the votes. And we moved to the parliamentary election, we were able to pool 17.1% of the votes. That constitutes 5 MPs that the party is realizing. Again, we moved to the council election, we were able to gather, or we were able to secure 25 councillors in the party and 1 chairman. So it's a great achievement that no opposition political party in the history of the Gambia ever achieved, as long as politics is concerned in the Gambia. Kon lii dafa am solo lii am na député yi liggéey neen ak ñoom, councilor yi liggéey neen ak ñoom, chairman bi liggéey neen ak ñoom, central executive bi ak supporter G.D.C yëpp liggéey neen ak ñoom, jaar nañ si jaar yi yëpp. waaye ba loolu amee kon li nga xam ne moo ñëw xew si diggante bi am neen ñaari député yi nga xam ne muy honorable Keba Diallo ak honorable Salif Diaw. kon ñii doon ne ñi nga xam ne parti bi bañ leen élégué ñu dooleel leen député bu nekk si ñun including myself doon ne ñu nga xam ne parti bi si leen taxawee ñu dem taxaw parliamentary election parti bi campagne bi nga xam ne def neen ko xaalis boobu noonu parti bi moo ko joxe déposit bi nga xam ne def neen ko si IEC ngir mun a taxaw parti bi moo joxe xaalis boobu noonu waaye parti bi amul si loolu rek den continuer ñu ekkati seen tànka takka seen ndigga dem si area bi nga xam ne taxawal neen fa candidate ñu metso pour nga win election si area boobu noonu kon parti bi mostu des gannaaw pour gis ne kenn ku nekk si ñun tey mu nekk député parti bi taxawu na la si wàllu xaalis taxawu na la si wàllu kàddu taxawu na la si wàllu ndimbal pour gis ne win nga toogu boobu noonu kon foog naa ne kenn ku doon nekk si ñun parti bi soo ko muntu njaaraa maal amuloo dara li nga wax parti bi su fekkee mënuloo gërëm parti bi ngir place buñ la yóbbu tey kon foog naa ne amul leneen li nga xam ne war nga ko ekkati di ko sànni parti bi 2 years down the line after the election am neen ñaari député yii nga xam ne démba joxe neen announcement bi si léegi député yi ñoom doon ne ñu nga xam ne si leen commencé di moytandeku si parti bi si leen commencé di daw parti bi si leen commencé di disassociate themselves from the party lii nii moo xew si diggante bi ndaxte li ko waral mooy su fekkee nag si kër nga bokk kër gi suñuy xëy doo xëy kër gi suñuy gont doo gont kër gi suñuy mitin doo mitin kër gi suñuy wax doo wax kon dafa mel ni yow génn nga sa boppa si kër boobu noonu donte su fekkee daaxuñ la si kër bi sax kon ñii doon ne ñu nga xam ne den daan toppa ki nga xam ne mooy président Adama Barrow su fekkee mu ngi am meeting ñu dem su fekkee président bi oote na mu dem lu mu sori su nekkee passé la sax ñoom dinañ dem ñu teew si jotaay boobu noonu waaye G.D.C su fekkee nga xam ne am na meeting fii wala am na political event wala political activity ak li muntu nekk ñii tey duñ mu ñëw benn yoon sax ñu ne neen oote wala neen wane solidarité si biir parti bi soo mu doon lu jaaxal parti bi trop su fekkee lii yëpp xew na si diggante ñoo xam nag lan moo tax ñi ngay dem toppi président Adama Barrow si jamono yooyu noonu waaye lii yàgg na parti bi oote neen council neen leen waxtaan neen ak ñoom waxee neen leen lu nekk pour ñu gëm parti bi ñu ànd ak parti bi si lu ñuy oote ñu ànd ak parti bi si lu ñuy liggéey ñu ànd ak parti bi si li nga xam ne moo nekk jaami réew mi waaye ñoom gëmatuñ parti toppatuñ parti kon ñoom dafa mel ni parti Adama Barrow wala président Adama Barrow kooku noonu moo leen ñor ba loolu amee ñu ne leen su fekkee nag parti bi yéen amatu leen ittee parti bi amatu leen intérêt si parti bi amatu leen lépp li nga xam ne nii bëgg ngeen koo def ak parti bi wala liggéey ak parti bi kon li ngeen war a def mooy bindal leen parti bi ngeen wanee ne yéen bëggatu leen a bokk si parti bi mënatu leen a liggéey ak parti bi mënatu leen a jëflante ak parti bi amul dara li nga xam ne ni parti bi mu ko def mu doy leen bindal leen ngeen wan loolu parti bi su ko defee ñun ñu xam ne ñii doon ne ñu nga xam ne bokkatuñ si ñun moo gën tey nga mbubboo parti bi wala ngeen uyoo turi parti bi si place bu mu muntu doon fekk yow bokkatuloo si parti bi foog naa lii ku la ko wax daf la yombalal sa liggéey daf la gën a yaatalal sa yoon waaye ñu ne déedéet parti bi la ñuy xaar ñu daxaañi su ko defee ñun deneen am ay kàddu yu mun a jël sànni ko parti bi buñ daxa suñ boppa buñ génne suñ boppa ngir bindi jox parti bi waaye leen xaar lu mu yàgga parti bi dinañu daaxa su ko defee ñu xamal askan bi ne G.D.C dañuy daaxe ku fa mënut dem itam nga xam ne bés dina ñëw dina la daaxa lii mooy jubluwaay waaye su fekkoon ne ñoom fu ñuy dem gëm leen ko wala ñoom fu ñuy dem muy si président Adama Barrow lu muy def mun na ko wala gëm leen lu président bi nekk di def man foog naa ne jarul nga xaar nit di la wax ne resignal in that political party man fi ma jublu su ma wóoree ne foofu moo gën a wér foofu moo gën a dëggu foofu moo gën a nekk jàmm foofu moo gën a bëgg réew mi kon man duma xaar kenn duma daaxa sa kër damay génnoon suma boppa ci sa biir kër dem si beneen kër waaye lii amut soo parti bi ñu ne comme nii la demee bokkatuñ jëfatuñ waxatuñ defatuñ na leen ñu binda kon wane ne ñu xamal réew mi ne ñu xamal soppoto yi ne kon nii bokkatuñ ci parti bi lii leen def daaxuñ leen ñoom yàgg dañoo daaxa seen boppa waaye nangu ñoo binda leeralal parti bi ne bokkatuñ ci yéen kon parti bi ne na leen ñu binda ñu leeralal askan bi ne ñii bokkatuñ ci ñun lii moo indi dismissal lii moo indi daaxal bu dëkk bi yëpp nekk di coow waaye nag Gambian si xamuñ ko dóor de ku fayu leen xam Gambian si xamuñ ko tooñ ku fayu leen xam Gambian si xamuñ ku njëkkee de ku mujjee leen xam kon lii leen nekk di réaliser ana ñooñu bañ naa dem di topp président Adama Barrow di jëflanteeg moom di wax si ràllin di ko defal li ko neex di ko waxal li ko neex di ko mobiliser ay nit ana askan bi jamono boobu ñu amoon lu ñu war a wax te waxuñ ko si loolu foogoon naa ne askan bi mënoon nañu leeral ne dafa am solo ngeen gëstu ñi nga xam ne tey ñoo leen indi ba ngeen mën a toppa président Adama Barrow muy G.D.C ñu leen dooleel campagnal leen jox leen xaalis xeexal leen defal leen lépp li nga xam ne mun ne ko seen kàttan gis ne win ngeen toogo bii nii ñu bàyyi leen seen freedom ñooñu war ngeen leen a gëstu su ngeen war a jàmfaa pour dem si beneen parti waaye lii yëpp amut soo daxa bi nii la ñëwee loolu ba mu amee démb waxtaan amoon na si léegi député yi journaliste yi solo na ñooy laaj ñooñu gaaral leen ay kàddu si léegi député yi benn si kàddu yu ñu leeral ñu ne honorable Mama Kandeh dictateur la lii bokk na si li nga xam ne gaaral leen ko si kàddu waaye kon ñoom yéex nañuy xam loolu de su fekkee honorable Mama Kandeh wala G.D.C Central Executive dictateur leen ñoom ñu xamoon loolu Mama Kandeh yàgg na parti depuis 2016 leen ko sampa soo ñoom ci 2021 leen soo ko xam ne honorable Mama Kandeh kooku dictateur la yow soo xamee ne bugguloo ànd ak dictateur man foog ma ne war ngaa taxaw ci parti dictateur soo xamee ne bugguloo ànd ak dictateur foog naa ne waruloo xaar dictateur di la jox xaalisam soo xamee ne mënuloo liggéey ak dictateur waruloo xaar dictateur di ñëw sa jotaay ngir nga am place waaye ñoom lii yëpp nangutoo neen ko lii yëpp àndaneen si ñu ne si turu dictateur tey bañ demee ba nga xam ne li ñu war a am yëpp am neen ko ñu soog a taxaw ne honorable Mama Kandeh dictator la. Frankly speaking, any day that I, Honorable Omar Sise, realize that element of dictatorship in the leadership of the Gambia Democratic Congress, that is the very day I will resign as a member of the Gambia Democratic Congress. But up to now, since 2016, this I cannot realize in the leadership of the Gambia Democratic Congress. kon ñoom dictateur bu ñu nekk di wax ne honorable Mama Kandeh daf leen a dicté si lu ñu war a def honorable Mama Kandeh moo leen wax li ñu war a def I think I should be affected. Honorable Alaji Sir, who is also an MP, should be affected. Because any decision that we are making in the National Assembly, we are there together. We are making decisions together. We are making submissions together. so kon su fekkee loolu am na ñu ooñu meeting man foog naa ne Honorable Alhaji Sow should be affected, I should also be affected. Waaye amul benn yoon pour ma leeral lii askan bi dégg ko amul benn yoon boo xam ne the leadership of the Gambia Democratic Congress taxaw ne ne lii ngeen war a def by force defu leen ko lii moo leen a toppa si loolu mosul koo wax député mosul koo wax councilor mosul koo wax chairmanam mosul koo wax central executive kon kooku naka la mën a nekkee dictateur amul benn yoon bi nga xam ne tey Honorable Mama Kandeh war nañoo waxtaanee dara si néegi député yi mu oo député bi na leen lii ngeen war a def forcé wala ñu daaxal leen parti bi loolu mostu am kon ana dictateur bi nga xam ne loolu leen nekk di oote si lii léegi nag su fekkee ñoom fu ñu wéer seen argument bi ñu ne loolu kañ la start ñu ne draft constitution ba mu commencé ñu ne Honorable Mama Kandeh oote na mu ne leen lii ngeen war a def waaye kon ñoom leeraluñ ne su ngeen defee lii moo leen a dal draft constitution boobu G.D.C is a stakeholder to the draft constitution. G.D.C is a well-structured political party and we have a role to play as much as the draft constitution is concerned. So su fekkee loolu am na G.D.C am na right pour mu oo nitam yépp mu wax leen ne this is our position as long as the draft constitution is concerned. What is wrong about that? G.D.C is a stakeholder. G.D.C is an institution. G.D.C has a role to play. G.D.C stood and campaigned on the ground that they want to provide the nation a new constitution. If things are unfortunate that we couldn't win the election, we still stand by our words. That is to provide the nation a new constitution. So if we realize that the current government is moving towards that direction, there is no way that the G.D.C will stand against that. So we were supporting the government to do that. We were complimenting the government to achieve that movement. So loolu moo tax Honorable Mama Kandeh oo na député bi yëpp central executive toog neen not once not twice ñu waxtaanee li nga xam ne moo jëm ci draft constitution bi ñu segga ko seggaat ko waxtaan si ak ñu ci war a waxtaan joxe suñu submission at the end of the day ñu conclude ne there is need for us to support the draft constitution. Of course, if this is concluded by the central executive of the G.D.C, what is wrong in this for the central executive and the leadership to call their representative and inform them that this is the stand of the party, we are in support of the draft constitution. So it is up to you now whether you will support it or not. But I am not dictating any one of you because you are representing a constituency. Lii mooy li nga xam ne moo xew. So su fekkee ñoom dañ wéer seen argument bi ne draft constitution bi Honorable Mama Kandeh mu ne force da nga am pour support ko wala ñu daaxala parti bi. All these people that you are seeing here, they are executive members. This has never happened in any meeting of the G.D.C during the draft constitution process. They can attest to that. So kon ana point bi nga xam ne ñii loolu leen nekk di wax lii meya allégation la Gambien si den war a bàyyi su la nit doolelee su la nit yafalee su la nit joxee lim la war a jox mu dooleel la jox la place may la lim la war a may gunge la ba fu nga war a egga nga jàllar bi ko di ko jamfa ba pare jàllar bi ko di wax lu la neex si kaw kooku noonu lii leen war a bàyyi ma ne soo nekkee place nga doon nekk si place ba place bi neexatul la bàyyil place bi ngir yàlla nga bàyyi ñooñu nekk si jàmma waaye nga ne déedéet damay xaar ñu daaxama man de kenn du ma xaar kenn daaxama su ma gëmatu si lu ma nekk ñu bàyyi kàddu yu ñaaw yu nga xam ne ñu ngi koo jël di ko tuumaan nit yi ñu bàyyi wax yu ñaaw yu nga xam ne ñu ngi koo jël di ko tuumaan nit yi ngir lan ñooma daaxa parti bi te yow yaa daaxa sa bopp leneen li nga xam ne leeral neen ko seen biir waxtaan ñu ne Honorable Mama Kandeh gëmut Gambian si bëggut réew mi Barrow moo ko gën a am the interest of the nation ah wax jool jaaxal na ma de su fekkee nga xam ne tey President Adama Barrow moo gën a am the interest of the nation than the G.D.C and its leadership then this will be a surprise, not just to the executive of the GDC, but to the Gambian people at large. Li ko waral mooy yow nga ne ki nga toppa moo gëm réew mi moo bëgg réew mi te ki nga xam ne nii moo la dooleel indi la fi nga nekk lim def si réew mi ki nga bëgg a toppa mun a gut koo def si biir réew mi te kooku nga dénk sa alal loolu man dina ma jaaxal. président Adama Barrow moo gën a bëgg réew mi sa hôpital yi ñu ngi nii mënuñoo am garab président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi sa jigéen ñi ngi dem hôpital di dee foofu ngir ñàkk garab président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi yaa ngi dem si hôpital doo mun a am garab président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi sa yoon yi mënuñoo baax président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi yow mënuloo am ndox sa dëkk président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi yow mënuloo am courant sa dëkk président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi yow sa school si xale yi nekk di jàng muntu correct président Adama Barrow moo bëgg réew mi hôpital yi mënuñoo am ambulance mu ngi jël moto di ko jox ay nit nga ne kooku moo bëgg réew mi te yaa ngi jàkkaarloo ak political party boo xam ne tey dénkuloo ko alal joxuloo ko dalasi joxuloo ko dara mu ngi jël alalam di dugga di génn di la dimbale sa askan kooku kon parti boobu wala leadership boobu naka la ko président Adama Barrow di gane ndaxte G.D.C doon na political party boo xam ne tey soo demee si wàllu education dugal neen fa suñ loxo soo demee si wàllu yoon dugal neen fa suñ loxo soo demee si wàllu hôpital dugal neen fa suñ loxo soo demee si wàllu agriculture dugal neen fa suñ loxo soo demee si wàllu dooleel ndaw ñi sponsor ndaw ñi dugal neen fa suñ loxo nga dem si yeneen ak yeneen yu nga xam ne G.D.C dugal neen fa seen loxo nguur gi sax mënul lii waaw léegi nag su fekkee da nga taxaw ne kon président Adama Barrow moo gën a bugg réew mi honorable Mama Kandeh man loolu dina ma jaaxal te su doonoon Adama Barrow kese su nekkoon moom kese doo doon mos a taxaw nekk député président Adama Barrow dafa campaign against each and every one of us including them su doonoon Adama Barrow ak nitami rek konoon ñoom duñ doon mos a nekkee député ndaxte président Adama Barrow taxaw na si seen biir dëkka taxaw na seen biir constituency taxaw na seen biir askan bi di wane na ñooñu xamuñ di wane na ñooñu mënuñ di wane na ñooñu nekkuñ dara di wane na ñii ku leen jox place ñu ko yóbbu tey nga taxaw na yow kooku nga war a soppoo te su nekkoon moom yow doo doon mos a nekk député waa lii xel mun na koo nangu nga ne kooku moo bëgg réew mi nga ne kooku moo la nar a dimbale nga ne kooku moo lay jox place nga ne kooku moom nga gëm man loolu dina ma jaaxal kon Gambian si den war a bàyyi seen xel si li nga xam ne loolu leen nekk di doxalee politique si biir réew mi fii soo demee ba nga xam ne si li nga nekk doyatul la kon ni nga bàyyi nga dem doxi sa soxla keneen dem doxi soxlaam dan ngay jël ay kaddu di ko jam nit dama ne daaxa bi nga xam ne daaxa neen ko gars yi bu journaliste yi téye ne lii léegi la soog a xew lii ba mu xewee yàgg na journaliste yi waxtaanee wuñ ko woon ba ñii daan ànd ak président Adama Barrow di dem rally ba ñii daan ànd ak président Adama Barrow di dem politics ba ñii daan ànd ak président Adama Barrow to move from one point to another across the country. We never interview them. We never talk to them. We never make it a case. We never make it something that is really worth discussing. Oh, today the G.D.C took the decision to dismiss them, so it's a case. Where were those who were supposed to question them, to ask them, to engage them, to know what is the leading factor, why they are supporting the president? That was never make a case, but today is a case. Daha bibam ame yagana. Since March, len daha ki nga xamne moy honorable Keba Jallow and honorable Salif Jaw. What happened in the National Assembly is just a statement to make the National Assembly aware that they are no longer representing the G.D.C party in Parliament. It was just a statement. But the dismissal letter was published long time ago. This I want people to understand. So buñ japp ne li dembala xew ci néegi député yi daha bi bam amé yagana néegi député yi lu fa xew moy den doon wané né
ñii kon nekkatuñ ci G.D.C kon buñ leen considéré ci biir néegi député yi di wane ne kon ñoom G.D.C leen nekk waa nit ki nag su fekkee nekkatuloo ci place te bëgguloo wane sa bopp ne nekkatuloo ci place kon ñi nga xam ne jógee nga ci ñoom ñooñu war nañoo wane ne nekkatuloo ci ñoom ndaxte loolu moo gën ngay mbubboo turi parti bi ngay uyoo turi parti bi di dox la neex di wax lu la neex di wax ci turi parti bi fekk parti bi ebaluñ la yónniwuñ la yëguñ la waxtaan ñoo yow waa lii ku koy doxee sa biir kër loolu du la neex nit ki mun a bokkatu sa biir kër te kooku noonu mu ngi def fu ko neex di wax li ko neex di jëf li ko neex mun naa def li nga xam ne day yàqa turi parti bi te ñooñu bokkatuñ ci parti bi kon lii moo sabablu daaxa bi dama bëgg ñu understand li so maa ngeen ñaan G.D.C supporters yépp G.D.C central executive bi ne gaa yi génne buñ leen génne wala feeñal buñ leen feeñal ne bokkatuñ ci parti bi has nothing to reduce in the party if not to increase the progress of the party. The G.D.C will continue moving. We have been struggling since 2016. And along the way, we are registering a lot of success along the way. And this, no one can stop. Not even them. Politics is about the grassroots. ñoom génn neen parti bi waaye ndax tey laajte neen ñoom ñi nga xam ne ñoo leen sànni loon karta ndax génn neen parti wala génn parti bi ndax laaj neen leen exécutif bi nga xam ne leen sampa seen area génn neen parti wala génn parti bi waa ñoom su fekkee nag ñooñu dañ leen sànnile si turi parti bi ñoo tax ñu xam leen parti bi ñoo tax ñu nekk fuñ nekk ñu leen sànni si turi parti bi leen sànnile ngir bëgg a parti bi ngir ànd ak parti bi ñooñu seen génn foog naa yóbbul si parti bi dara waa nit ñi nag ku génn leen xam waaye ku dugg amuñ si interest Gambia nag mooy doxee noonu su ñu nit génn na G.D.C cooli ne kur si dëkk bi waaye su ñu nit dugg na G.D.C ku nekk ne mut loolu moom amuñ si interest waa xibaar nag xibaar la rek ku dugg loolu xibaar la ku génn itam xibaar la kon ñu def yu mu nekk xibaar comme dañuy xamal nit yi ñu xamal leen ñu duggatam suñ leen xamalee ñu génn waaye every day people are coming in the party and journalists are aware of this people are aware of this but they will never talk about it but even if you have somebody a less important person out there who left the party, it's a case writing all over, news all over, meeting all over, discussion all over. Well, from now, there should be a fair play to this. It is important that all sides should be discussed. All sides should be published. Let me tell you, if we have one who is leaving the party, you have multiples of individuals who are joining the party daily. Even just today, we have people who join the party. So, G.D.C supporters loolu bu mu leen tiital loolu bu mu leen ragalloo loolu bu mu leen yóbbu fenn neen xam ne parti bi fu mu taxawoon mu ngi taxaw foofu benn tey liggéey bu mu noonu def dina ko continuer di def te December on the 4th G.D.C dafay dem State House jërë ngeen jëf.
passé nañ foo xam ne ñëpp dinañ seede dara mu xew si kanam yi ñëpp yow nga taxaw ne amutoon nii la xewee so ñu ngi laa jaajëfal torop honorable Omar Cissé ñu ngi laa wax jërëjëf di jaajëfal ñiy déglu tamit ba tey dinañ continuer si kaddu yi léegi dinañ ko tënk ki nga xam ne mooy suñu deputy party leader tout di honorable Amadou Ka ñu ngi laa wax bismillah kaddu bi jox nañ la ko.
For the benefit of other, language speakers, then I may try to speak in English, just to continue on the quest to reach as many as possible. I will just start by saying, I believe one of the most important quality of a leader should be honesty. It is one thing that defines who people are, what they represent, what type of leadership, what type of channels, what type of routes that they will take their people through. And it is incumbent upon all leaders in this country, not only political party leaders, but even leaders in our households. Honesty is very key, it's very important. And this is one of the lessons that I've learned again from these two members of parliament that were representing the G.D.C. The G.D.C party, as everybody knows, have rules and regulations, a service rule, a code of conduct that people that serve in the party, are members that are subscribed to the party, are expected to live with. And specifically, if the Central Executive Committee is concerned and members of parliament that are representing G.D.C, one of those rules states that the moment somebody wins an election on the G.D.C ticket as a member of parliament, the person automatically becomes a member of the Central Executive Committee of the G.D.C. That being the case, the same code of conduct states that no executive member of the G.D.C should be absent from executive meetings for 3 consecutive times. And in fact, for any executive meeting, there must be notice advanced before the meeting. The said MPs, I will challenge them that even myself, being a deputy party leader of this party, cannot tell you, cannot recall the very last time they set foot within the premises of the G.D.C, much more talking about attending a G.D.C executive meeting. And they never advanced to the party any reason for doing so. The G.D.C programs has it that executive members, and most especially the members of parliament, should be paying contribution to the party, as all other political parties, or most other political parties around the world do, to support the financing of their political parties. These specific 2 members of parliament, I challenge them, even if they are going to print statements of their accounts to show that they have respected and have been paying such contribution to the party, they refuse to do so. They refuse to do so. In the elections in Kirjarga Ward and in Jara Central, in the local government elections, the by-elections, Salif Jawo publicly campaigned against the G.D.C candidate. And he made mention that he is of the NPF, the Barrow camp, because Barrow, as president, has an agenda that's better than of the G.D.C. And can you imagine a member of parliament who claimed to be representing G.D.C in the House would publicly campaign against a G.D.C candidate in his constituency? Yet still he said that their expulsion is a blow to the party. But even for Salif Jawo, in the Kirjarga elections, in his home village, G.D.C won again. And he made declaration that this is a blow to the G.D.C because his people in the constituencies asked him to leave the G.D.C. And in fact, when he publicly campaigned against the G.D.C a few months ago, after he declared his loyalty to the Barrow camp, in his home village again, G.D.C won. So therefore, the major reasons, the reason why these people are expelled from the party is they have no representative in the party. They do not attend party meetings. They do not contribute. In fact, never would they stand in G.D.C platforms. They don't attend our rallies. Not any one of them would they even have contact with. There is not a single protocol, a single rule that is found within all G.D.C books that any of these people, any of these 2 candidates have been living or been respecting for the past 2 years. And then the issue of the draft constitution. in the recent, let us see who is doing dilly-dally here. The draft constitution was a Barrow project. It's a coalition government project, not G.D.C. project. At the planning stage, G.D.C. made it very clear that most important to our country at that time was that we could just go by amending the 1997 Constitution. And we were made enemy of the state by the coalition regime headed by President Barrow. It is Barrow and his government that constituted a Constitution Review Commission, gave them a mandate to bring us a new constitution. It was them who used public funds, public resources, the media, and lobby for funds to advance, to present a new constitution to the Gambian public. It is not the G.D.C. After the work was conducted, the report was submitted to them, and we went through, and we see there is a lot of good in this draft constitution. Of course, G.D.C. would support it. And we came out publicly to make very clear to the people that we are supporting the draft constitution because of the good it holds. Unfortunately, President Barrow and his government and his MPs, specifically to mention these two, are the same people again who caricature the draft constitution that they use our funds to bring to the Assembly, and who throw it out from the National Assembly. How come G.D.C. is responsible for that? And the dilly-dally continues. Few days ago, in the recent, the 59th ECOWAS summit, haven't we seen the UN rep, the rep to the Secretary General, urging political parties to try to form a consensus towards bringing this constitution into effect? It was said in the face of our president, and they didn't try to say that that's not what we needed. So then who is doing that? It's not us. And I will make this very clear. The Constitution guarantees every citizen's right to be voted into office and or to vote in electoral processes. And that's why there are people who choose to be represented through political parties. And if that is not what you don't want, there is a clause for you to go and stand independent. You'd be an absolute hypocrite if you go through a party ticket, being sponsored by a party, being supported by a party, being voted into office by members of a party. No, they were not voted by every member of their constituencies. No, it is those that registered, that submitted to the G.D.C. protocols that voted them into office. There were different manifestos presented to the people. And the voters chose and said, it is what is in G.D.C.'s manifesto that suits us, and that's why that's what we are voting. And that's how they were sent to Parliament. If they are honest, then in Parliament, that should be the course that they should continue. That is how you represent the people. And this again, just inform us about some of the illiterate people that we might have on this that believe that they know democracy and are advancing democracy, but they don't know. We have seen in the UK, Boris Johnson, in fact, when he took over, before he even went into elections, he sacked 21 MPs that refused to advance his agenda, the party agenda. And after they went into election, the Conservatives regained all those seats. None of them won their seats because they are properly informed. And they know in there they represent their political parties. If you don't want to represent a political party, go and stand as an independent candidate. 27 made it very clear. A lot of independent candidates contested the election. Only one was sent to the parliament by the people. Therefore, people made their decision and they chose to send people, represent them through political power, and that is a proper representation. If anything is changed at the level of National Assembly, then they have changed, they have altered the will of the people. Because the will of the people is that percentage, those 5 MPs, to represent them in the parliament under the ticket, under the name, and under the manifesto of the G.D.C. That is proper representation. Anything that's different from that is an alteration that is not in the interest of our country. So we will make this very clear. We ask them to support the draft constitution. And we will even ask them again tomorrow, because we believe there is good in it. Look at our situation now. It is very sad that Gambia is going into elections. And can you imagine, this is a country where somebody can have 10% of the votes and be declared a winner in these elections. And we call ourselves Democrats. It is a shame. And who should have given us that? It is President Barrow and his government. In 2016 and before 2016, this was one of the insults meted against the regime, that they are undemocratic. One of the most fundamental aspects of democracy is more than 50% of the electorates to choose their leaders, not a situation where we have 10% of the population to decide who leads them. A country will never advance when 80% or 90% of the population are not in favor of the ruling party. That's not democracy. We are just fooling ourselves. And it is incumbent on them to give us that. We need it. This election process we are going in is all made to look like this by President Barrow and his government. And this was not the promise made to the Gambian people. So the expulsion of these two specifically came from the G.D.C Executive Committee. And it was not done because we just wanted to do so or we have any differences between ourselves and them. No, but they have not ruled. They have not lived by the expectation of the party. They do not even mention the party's name. They don't attend party rallies. They don't attend executive. None of them can tell you the last time they set foot in G.D.C offices. So they have disrespected, disregarded our protocols, our code of conduct, our service rule, our constitution, everything, any document the party has. And they say they're leaving the G.D.C to the agenda of the president, that they call it, and the agenda of President Barrow. Yes, we know. I can list a lot of agendas of the president. The G.D.C Commission was an agenda of the president. How did it end it? Up until this minute, citizens continue to question, to ask, what was made, what was raised during the process of that process? Where is the money? How has it been spent? It was very unfortunate when we saw the ruling, when the lawyers representing Karafi and others filed for an injunction at the court. Even at that level, we still learn again that it was the horse before the cart by this government. And when they were supposed to implement the recommendation of the G.D.C Commission, again, another commission that was set up by the President Barrow's government, by President Barrow's agenda, that the agenda, they say that it is so good that they deserted G.D.C for that agenda. The recommendations were not made in the interest of the people. It was cherry picking. It was cherry picking. People that work with the current regime, in the current executive, were allowed to continue their services, do what they have to do. Others that were not in their favor, banned from taking up jobs in the civil service. That was the outcome of that. Money of the state, of the people, resources of this country that belongs to all of us, spent, and that's where it ended. Probably we're still waiting for the implementation of the recommendations. But at the end of the day, it has clearly manifested what the agenda is. we have seen that of Faraba, Banta report. The recommendation included the police be supported, be equipped, be trained more in crowd handling on issues like that. That is not what we are still seeing today. Still now the agenda that they decided G.D.C for, we have seen the passport scandal in 2019. The diplomatic passport scandal. One of the people mentioned who was a driver to the president received again, months later, being given a red carpet to the State House. That is the agenda they say they claim to have deserted G.D.C for. In January 2021, we're still the least satisfied about the process of handling the $88 million worth of cocaine that was seized in this country. What we expected was a government that will take the absolute leadership in making sure this country, the youth of this country are protected. That nobody uses our source for transit, for illegal transits. We still see how slow the process is. The culprits still at large. We do not see frequent reports coming regarding this matter. We do not. Yes, there is an agenda, and that's the agenda they decided G.D.C for, as they claim. And to the people, it is time for us to stop allowing certain people believing that they can use us. I sometimes feel like I am being pinched when I see an MP in the House sent by a political party ticket saying that in this House I don't represent a political party, I represent national interest. It's an absolute confusion. It tells you that that person has no idea what he's there to do. And that's why even in the process, every political party, their manifesto is vetted by the IEC against the national constitution. And IEC will reject it if it has any contrary effect with the national constitution. There is no way a party can take anything into that House that is not in the interest of the people. It is an insult to the people. It has to stop. When a parliamentarian believes that the people you left behind are illiterate, and then you can say in here, I represent the, what is the national interest? The national interest is the people's interest. Is the party interest, the national interest. How can you even imagine if what the party is telling you to do was not national? The constitution of the Gambia will guarantee it. It is the constitution of the Gambia that guarantees political parties to be represented in that House in the proportion decided by the people through the votes. How can somebody think that low and say something, utter something like that? What is fair is in that party, if you are from in that House, if you are from G.D.C, you advance the manifesto of the G.D.C. If there are national debates, you advance what G.D.C believes to be the right thing for this country. So those, if you are from UDP, if you are from DOI, if you don't want to advance any of these from this political party, stand as an independent candidate, and when you go there, speak freely your mind. And even if you do so, you speak your mind, you are not being fair. You have no right in that House to speak your mind. There is no MP in that House that has any right to speak your mind. It's not for your mind. It is for the interest of the people, what they believe, what they want, what they think, not your head. That has to be made very clear. You don't speak your mind there. We don't send you there to speak your mind. This goes to all MPs. And we have been hearing this a lot of times. A member of parliament in this House will say, you have no mind to speak there. You are there to speak what people ask you to say. It is also have problems. And send you there to represent those problems. Don't talk about your problems in that House. That would be illegal. And I can assure you that a G.D.C government will be very different from the President Barrow's government. Absolutely different. Our reform programs will be absolute reforms, not only mere words and mere sentences in pages, in paragraphs, in books. That will not be what we will come to do. We will reform institutions. The civil service will be reformed in ways that will bring glory to this country. And this will include both home and the foreign service. We will make sure that an anti-corrupt institution will be instituted, and corruption, we will fight against corruption in this country. We will fight corruption from whoever it is, being people from our own midst, from our own team, or whoever it is. We will not fight corruption looking into favors, by affection, or anything. We will fight corruption justly. An anti-corruption commission, our government will make so and see to it that will be one of the most vibrant, supported institutions in this country. We will bring tax reforms. What people do in this country, not only mentioning the high tax rates in this country, that can even discourage a lot of investors coming to this country. But people that pay tax regularly, at the end of the day, should be able to get something back from those. And that will inform the tax authorities that the money we give them must be put in the best use of this, in the best use for people of this country. Our government and our government will be a government that calls for diversity and inclusion. We will not accept people standing in our platforms and calling tribes to support and vote us. That's not us. Unfortunately, we have seen recently people from the group that they went to decided us, that's what they do. That's not us. A G.D.C government will be a government that will practice, will not only preach but also practice inclusion, togetherness. Opportunities will be based on meritocracy. The reason why we continue to suffer in this country is because opportunities are not based on meritocracy. After all, we have seen presidential advisors who really cannot, we don't even know what they would advise. How can you advise the president on political matters if you don't even have never written politics in a book? How is that possible? With the situation of a country, a brand new democracy starting, a beginning country, with all the hiccups, a G.D.C government will not appoint a political advisor who has never seen that word politics in a book. That will not be us. Youth empowerment will be seen. We will not bring a youth minister because we are going into elections. No, no, no. Youth affairs will be run by the youths in our government. Women will not be left behind. Sometimes I say this a lot. When we meet and start talking about national issues, and somebody who thinks that has represented women in a lot of ways will say, let us not forget about the women, let's cater for them. Why would you cater for them? Do we men own it to cater for them? We have to make sure they have their share equally as part of everything, not when we do things and cater for them. And that will be the strategy of the G.D.C. The disabled, the elderly. It is very, very sad that you have seen somebody with more than 65, somebody that has retired. And the only reason that they would go for their pensions is because they don't have an option. We have seen people that are supposed to receive their pension and would send for it or will be trying to receive it all the way just to hide from being seen. That's not going to be a G.D.C government with the elderly. We will develop agribusiness in this country, broadly define agriculture, crops, livestock, poultry, agriculture, beekeeping, and so on and so on. A lot can be. a GDC government will make so that our raw materials will not continue leaving the source of this country as raw as they are naturally made. Value adding will be one of the things that we will champion as a government. Quite different from what they said or they are deciding for us for. A complete health sector reform will be instituted. Our institutions supported with equipment that would define their roles, also supporting students that are interested in learning, in studying fields in the health sector. Free medication for the pregnant woman and the elderly and the disabled. These are part of the promises that G.D.C would make for our health sector reform. Quality education. We will significantly increase education, access to education nationally. Teacher development incentive and rewards will be one of our programs. Quality education that will compete not only locally but internationally is going to be what G.D.C would institute in this country. Sound economic policies in agriculture, in tourism, in fisheries, and so on and so on and so on. We will not be a government where people, the led, will feel that they have no connection with the leaders. And that's what we are seeing today. Yesterday you were in the shop. You bought something for $5. Today you go, the same person will tell you $10, and there is nothing you can do about it. And we are all witness to that. All of us are witness to that. All of us are witness to that. It's happening now. You don't even know where the prices are coming from. The person, and we'll do it with the same stock. The same stock. In fact, it's not going to be a situation where it might be probably something has changed. But the same stock, the same carton from which you bought yesterday for $10, today you're going to buy it from the same carton again, $15. Pedestrians are suffering. From this small KMC, you pay fare 3 times, 4 times, nobody talks about it, nobody dares to talk about it. How do they care about the welfare of the people? How do they care about the welfare of the people? A free market system also means a system where the people are protected. In many parts of Europe, you'll find out that they have caps for basic commodities. That there is no way a household can be charged, example, electricity, more than £400. Are we more free than those market systems? We are not. But because they care for the interest and the welfare of their people. And that's the kind of government a G.D.C government would be. Good governance, transparency, accountability, participation, rule of law. Not cherry picking. Accountability, transparency is a rare gem. Is a rare gem in this regime, and we all know that. Effective revenue collection, improve information communication technologies, and so on. All of these things will be. And finally, I want to urge all Gambians that here we are going into another election. In 2016, a brief recap, G.D.C was said to have refused to join the coalition then. And I was one of the leaders in those talks represented for G.D.C. The first talks were called held at the NRP bureau. And I've represented all those meetings. I've attended all those meetings. At the later part, they said, what was brought in by the political parties that formed the coalition was the share. If we should win the government, the share will be based on the 2011 election statistics. Then I stood up and said that it's impossible because G.D.C was not existing then. And they said that doesn't matter, but that's the only thing we can do. Then I even brought in a suggestion. Why not, you have seen us, we have gone out up to 3 times. Why not you rate us and give us a percentage? And they said no. Then later Halifa Saleh called for talks. We also attended those talks. It went up to a point where we said By next meeting, we all parties were urged to go to the executive and work on modalities about how to select the candidate, the leader. We all went for that meeting. We were supposed to converge in that session, and now each party will present about how they think would be the most appropriate modality to select a leader. We, G.D.C, we get to the ground and we found the media, the press, they were called. And when I asked for, why is the press here? Because this is not what we're coming here to do today. And they said that people have been pestering us, have been following us. We just need to tell them we have agreed. And I said, we, G.D.C, are never going to be part of that. We will never be part of that. That we have agreed and we have not agreed. And that very day, it was announced to the Gambian people that there was an agreement. There was never an agreement. And it was on that date that G.D.C withdrew from those talks. I can remember vividly. While I was standing at the door with our former deputy party leader, Mr. Yusuf Ajete, the Honorable Halifa Saleh came there. And he was saying that it is necessary, it is important, we all be part of this. Then we said we are not going to be part of this. What we agreed, what we're going to do today is not this. I can remember he said, we just look into the national interest. But we stood our ground and said, we are never going to be part of this declaration. And it was on that day that G.D.C withdrew from those talks. And after all, the truth was, they were not even never interested for G.D.C to join those talks. I can remember vividly, wallahi, Allah, in fact, I am calling names. After that election, after that day, it was in this room, the current vice president came. My auntie Ajiyam Seka was here. Syria Jata was here to call Mama Kande and the G.D.C to join the coalition. And we reminded them of the reasons. I can remember when Asru Ture would hug Mama Kande and told him that we know that you are on the right track. It's not a lie. I dare not. That happened here. That happened in this room. So G.D.C have since inception have been a party that stand by the principle of telling Gambia the truth. Even if it is going to harm us, even if it's going to be very expensive, we will take it, but we will not present lies to the Gambian people. Where are the promises made? It was 3 years, they said. It was agreement, they said. Where is the protocol? Where is the agreement? Then if anybody has fooled the Gambian people, it's not the G.D.C. And that we will never do. So we thank you all for coming. We thank you for sparing your time to join us in this press conference. And inshallah, going towards the elections, we will be doing briefings regularly, inshallah, with the media to then give you current information about affairs of the party. Inshallah ta'ala. Thank you all. Jërëjëf.
We send people for particular purposes, and they don't serve that purpose. We have the right to retrieve them or to withdraw them from that seat or from that title that we gave them. I believe the people that those MPs were represented are not happy with the fact that they were not representing them. They were not speaking their voice, but instead speaking their own voices. And I really don't understand why the journalists or the press or the Gambians at large did not ask those people why they choose not to speak for the people who put them in those positions, for the people who they are representing, but instead choose to follow their own way for their personal interests. Nonetheless, thanks to our previous speakers, and thanks for clarifying the whole issue. I hope the Gambians will now know the stand of G.D.C and why we decided to officially make those MPs and the entire nation realize that they are not serving the purpose of them being elected. We will now go to the question and answer session, and it's open. Anyone can ask a question to whoever you want to ask the question to, preferably the members of the high table or our previous speakers. The question and answer session is open.
What I'm saying is that a coalition is made based on an agreement. Huh? They were challenged. You know, this coalition was challenged. We have seen a party leader in the country ask them to publish their agreement. We have seen that in the past. But I can tell you vividly, the reason why G.D.C withdrew from those talks is we were asked to be part of the coalition on that very day to tell Gambians that we have agreed on a specific modality of taking over a leader, and we refused to. And this was why we withdrew from those talks. And they all know that that was what happened. Let them give it out to the people if there is. But what I can tell you is, at the very final day, we were not there. But we withdrew because at that point in time, we were told to tell people that we have agreed. Whilst on that very day, what we were supposed to do is all of us will come and present to the people, the all political parties, what morality we believe, we think was fitting for a party, for a leader to be elected. I can remember vividly what my presentation was supposed to be, that the best way to elect a leader for the coalition was to take the ballots, identify certain areas in this country, take the ballots there, inform the people, and the people decide whoever that they vote for on a particular day, then the people will still maintain that when we come out to general election. And therefore, we would have represented the will of the people. That was what we proposed, and that proposal was never given platform to be read out to the others.
Okay, another question about, the two MPs, they allege that, Mama Kande is a dictator. Omar Sise yesterday, I had an interview with him, but there is a point that I missed. I did not ask him because I think that was an oversight for me. They said even financial dealings of the party, Mama Kande decides he has the financing. Even financial dealings. You as a deputy, party leader, what do you say to these allegations against your number one?
Yeah, I know they are really false allegations. Before I first was the auditor of the party, then from there being the head of the finance secretary of the party, then before becoming the PRO of the party. So I have absolute information about how G.D.C finances are run. In fact, first how we made our funds. You see, and all of these things happen through contribution. Probably they will not know because they refuse to contribute. That's one. And you will not know because when you contribute and you don't contribute, actually you will not know how much we have made. That is one of the issues. But when it comes to, I can even tell you that I cannot remember the last time Mama Kande instructed for funds to be paid out of G.D.C accounts. No. Even when I was there, the decision mostly would have been left with me. If anything, if it comes to him, he would say relate to, finally, he would advise, and then finally relate to his finance secretary, and whatever he says is fine. So this is how we have been working. I don't have any problem in even showing you how we raise our funds, our list of contributions that we have made. This is for our funding. So kind of like saying Mama Kande is a dictator when it comes to financing. In fact, I don't know, with these people, probably what they know about G.D.C financing is the reports that G.D.C presented to its members and all that. But they are not actually directly dealing with the G.D.C finances. They say, it's just like, one of the cabinet members who has nothing to do with finance, they start to tell you that, give you detail about how Mamburinga and others run their financial office. They say. But I can tell you, example, this platform today, is Mama Kande presenting to the people today? It's not here. The PRO had done so. So then, if it was 1 month, so Mama Kande would have been the person doing it, because it's not in town. They say. And then when this was said in the past, I can remember when it was said in the past. And then when we were making use of budget out of the party leader, Mama Kande was not in town. And then when the decision was conveyed to him, of course he is the party leader, then he can always give his best suggestion. And we believe, if we see that it is the right thing to do, of course we will give him the benefit of the doubt. This Salif Jawa, if he can tell you the truth,
sometime, I cannot tell you, I cannot remember actually, but our last meeting with him, a year ago or two, very probably, I can remember then the late Honorable Dembo Sow was in attendance. And in that meeting, he himself clearly knows, that it is the executive of the G.D.C. on that meeting that kept him in the party till date. He knows that very clearly. So, everybody comes here by our own conviction. How can you even expect people as young as we are being allowed to be kind of jail or cage or whatever under a dictator? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even have. There are many occasions in which you, as members of the press, covered very important programs in this country. Has Mama Kande been in attendance? Usually you will see me, or you see him, or you see somebody else, or somebody else. If he was the same person, he would have been the same person being on one of those programs where decisions are supposed to be made. Those talks we talked about in the coalition, not even once was he there making decisions. It was us exactly who were going there and making those decisions. So I think it's just because they never had interest in the G.D.C. for a long time, and obviously whatever you leave, like we said, whatever you leave also leaves you. So they left the party a long time ago. Obviously they cannot be au fait with how the party is run. In fact, probably all they know about Mama Kande now is just the face, but they even know they have forgotten about the personality. Somebody that you may not talk to about a year or more, you cannot know the person. You cannot be current with the person. That's what happened to them.
Let me just add a few words, because the individual you are talking about is somebody that I have known even before he became a politician. He's the most humble person you can find among us. He's a down-to-earth person. He respects everybody, and he gives every person his due. Now, if I am asking for information on the finances of the institution, my first responsibility is to contribute financially to the upkeep of that institution. Now, according to the press briefing, they are saying that they have never contributed. They have refused to contribute. So if you don't contribute, how can you ask for a statement on how the finances are spent? I have never witnessed, since I became a member of the AAD, I've never witnessed where he has instructed anybody to do X, Y, and Z regarding the finances of the party. He does not involve himself in finance, and he is, as far as I know him, he is a down-to-earth person. He's not somebody that will find him putting himself in people. Mama is not that type. I've known him before he became he got into politics, and he's already that. And his love for this country is unquestionable. When he was in New York, he had a lot of projects in Okaniba at the time. He was doing a lot of things for the people in Okaniba. So his love for the country is unquestionable. You see, if you part with somebody, it is better to say the truth between you and your creator. It is bad to tarnish somebody's image just because you have to create. You should learn to tell the truth, no matter what. The truth shall always make you free. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's our party president. We have another question from the back. Yes, please.
Yet to contest for presidential election, a party that is yet to contest for parliamentary election across the nation, a party that is yet to contest for council election across the nation, mayor and chairmanship, you cannot grade that party. And one can always stand to grade the G.D.C. You cannot establish the popularity of the NPP. This is a political party that is established of recent. So obviously there is no yardstick that you and I can use to determine the popularity of that political party. And one can always do this. The G.D.C contested in the presidential election And our percentage is well known, the parliamentary election and the councillorship election. So obviously, in as much as politics and records are concerned, G.D.C forms the majority as opposed to the NPP. This no one can question. This no one can argue. There is no record that you can base your argument to say the NPP is more than the G.D.C. So where is the point? What yardstick are you using to measure that? As per the records. Thank you. I believe, you see, this is a long story. I make it very clear during my presentation or deliberation that these are individuals who were in any way not interested in the dealings of the party. They have nothing much to do with the party. And the G.D.C took it upon itself to ensure that they are invited, they are cautioned. Okay? Let them speak out. What exactly is wrong? What is wrong somewhere? Let us discuss it as a party and bring everything to an end. But there was never a solution. Whatever that is discussed, at the end, if they go out, they will never appear again. They will not talk about the G.D.C, they will not associate themselves with the G.D.C, they will not attend political rallies and all that not. So obviously, if you as an individual, you have nothing to do with me, I don't think whether I should still keep you being informed about what is happening in that political party. So obviously, if you are not interested anymore, I don't have to keep you informed. And by doing that is to remove you from all form of communication that is happening within the G.D.C. It's not something that is premature. So many things happen before their removal from various WhatsApp groups, because we engage them several times in order to come to an agreement on certain things or to see how best we can resolve whatsoever that they believe is wrong to them or in the party. And they never in any way agree to that. So obviously the best thing is for us to remove them and not to keep them informed about the way the party is run. That is the exact thing we did, and there is nothing wrong about that. Yes.
Can I ask my question in the local language?
Very well.
Okay, my name is Mary Jackie from Gambia. No, like come December, Sani Cactus Ame, Yana, the G.D.C will need the presidential elections. So those members of parliament in the new experience the party, Muga Dels was back to the G.D.C. Are you going to open doors for them to get the party?
My sister, this is something that we are realizing in the G.D.C. The G.D.C is a very open party. It's not owned by an individual. Oh, should I speak in Wolof as well? Oh, okay. G.D.C nekk na parti bi nga xam ne nii dafa yaatal ay mbagam pour ñëpp ñu dugga ñëpp ñu xëj kenn moomut ko Gambian si ñoo moom parti bi yow sa bopp sa ëllëg mën ngaa ñëw jiite parti bi dafa des si noo bëgg a liggéey ak parti bi. So lii nekk na li nga xam ne am na si parti bi ba pare nekkul li nga xam ne we are expecting it. Am na ñu nga xam ne bokkoon nañ si parti bi nekk top executive members of the party ñu dem join NPP ñu del si wax si parti bi li am na si parti bi. So obviously kenn du ñëw ñu reject la dañoo xam ne fi nga jógee nga del si waat te dëgg bi rek mooy mujj loolu nga ñu nekk di wan loolu nga nekk di démontrer. So ku muntu dem soo del si waatee dinañ la accommoder dinañ ànd ak yow dinañ liggéey ak yow su fekkee réew mi moo la ñor. If you are coming for personal gain, there is no room for you. If you are coming to develop alongside with G.D.C the progress of the nation, you are always welcome. It doesn't matter how far or how long you left the G.D.C, but whenever you decide to come back, you are welcome. We have no problem with that. Thank you. Yes.
ñaari MP yaa ngi wax ne since March si ngeen leen daaxa kon nga ne xibaar bi dafa génn kon ñun foog naa ñun démb lañ jot xibaar bu jógee masuma askan bi la ñu mën a koo génne so yaa ngi jëm a blame ko ñun ñëw ñu itam pour tasaare ko lu dilee G.D.C but teeluñ ta génne statement boobu noonu as early as possible second question bi moo nekk gis naa sa statement boo fi mot ne you must complain on Adama Barrow. Did Adama Barrow have hand on this?
Thank you. Should I respond in Wolof? Well, li xew mooy ñaari député yooyu noonu nga nekk di wax daaxa bi nekkut léegi la xew dama bëgg ñu understand lii dafa xew leetar bi bañ leen ko joxee depuis March leen bindoon leetar bii waaye nekku ne G.D.C ñoo daaxa ñii ñoo daaxa seen boppa ñun li ñu def mooy pour ñu mun ko document comme ñoom jéem leen parti bi waaye bëgguñoo binda pour parti bi document ko ñu ne ñun leen binda wan askan bi ne bokkaatuñ ci parti pour ñu mun koo fayil lii la waaye lu xew mooy ñooñu li nga xam ne moo xew si néegi député yi démba bañ yóbboo leetar bi si néegi député yi loolu yàgg na waaye National Assembly nekkuñu woon sit-in loolu moo tax announcement bi mënutoon a ñëw I want people to understand this. There was no sitting taking place in the National Assembly that resulted the letter or the statement not being given by the Speaker. So National Assembly resumed their sitting. Silen soko joxe statement B. Notwithstanding, Lee publication we saw them make refer to one of the or three of the media houses published name ko fofu nonu. I could remember MC Charles sharing this with some of the media houses. New publish lolu so they make Fatu network ding ko fekk fofu nonu. I still have this with me. So they make Fatu ding ko fekk information be fee. So what are they ko maybe people don't build much interest about it. Why lu am ba parala. So nek suñ koy publish nen ko National Assembly bi ñu joxe dem ba statement la pour assembly bi itam ñu xam ne ñi bokkatuñ G.D.C ñu mun a change seen sitting arrangement lii la rek moo xew. Thank you. Adama Barrow nit lay ut na G.D.C di utee nit so lim ko jaral dina ko def su fekkee nag yow dafa am lim la dig li nga xam ne it's a personal gain mun nga dem Adama Barrow mu jox la loolu waaye dama xam ne du doon li mun a continuer su fekkee den dem ngir ñu am lu ñu ut ci président Adama Barrow loolu muntu continuer ndaxte G.D.C jaami réew mi la gis réew mi la mooy defal mbooloo la mooy defal amut li nga xam ne daf ko jox kenn nit G.D.C amul loolu di jël 10,000 am di jël moto am di jël lii am ñun amuñ loolu ñun luñ am mooy bokk ko ak askan bi defal ko askan bi jëriñoo rather than giving or supporting or empowering an individual for personal gain G.D.C defuñ loolu Adama Barrow nag su fekkee dafa foog ne dafa am xaalis bu muy joxe na joxe te ku mun a jëli na nga jëli December 4 Adama Barrow dafay wàcc kon nga xam ne li nga am ni nga njëkkalante nga jël li nga mun a jël mu gaaw ñu nga xam ne they are interested I am not interested.
One question online la ko jëlee because ñu ko seen online ñu ngi ne on sa whether G.D.C dina mën a dem ak UDP as police on this coming election.
G.D.C parti la boo xam ne dafa am loo xam ne moo ko tax a taxaw gis nga làmb ju ne képp koo xam ne yàlla sédd na la xel di nga xam ne am na ñoo xam ne foog ñu léewtoo làmb ju ne képp ku yàlla sédd xel da nga xam ne làmb ji foog am na ñoo xam ne dinañ léewtoo tey mbir yi ni mu demee man de suma xam-xam li ma jox ci politique xalaat naa ne làmb ji ñu dëgmal si dana am parti yoo xam ne foog ñu léewtoo parti yu bokk na ci G.D.C bokk na ci UDP bokk na ci NPP bokk na ci doy bokk na ci APRC ak yeneen waaye parti la nga xam ne foog ñu jàkkaarloo ñu léewtoo understand nga maanaam nag ñaareel ñi nga xam ne nii xëy na danañu bëgg di raise question boobu noonu li leen koy tax di raise mooy foog nañ ne xëy na buñ ne G.D.C ak UDP dañ ànda day yàq G.D.C wala day yàq UDP xalaat bu demee noonu moo dee waral question boobu noonu waaye tey naka la nit mënee imagine ñi nga xam ne ñoo gën a am solo ci làmb ji ñi gën a am solo ci làmb ji ne waaw ñun tey làmb ji dafa am solo trop waaye léegi ñun ñu gën a am solo nañ leen fàtte suñu agenda yi ñu xool yeneen solutions loolu yanul maanaam understand nga dëgg la nag ci élection lañ jublu ci parti ñun parti yëpp parti Gambia la yëpp a bokk am ci Gambia waaye bu soobee yàlla G.D.C fi ñu toll nii suñu ité suñu yéene yëpp suñu resource everything ñu ngi koy jeex towards ne paan yi tege paan yi Mama Kandeh tege
ñu dóor Amadou Barrow dóor boo xam ne kenn mësu koo xalaat December 4th declare GDC win. This is our plan, this is our priority, this is our agenda from now on te lii mooy leneen loo xam ne yàlla andi na ko si diggante nag wasalaam waaye lii mooy suñu concentration as of now.
Thank you very much. I think we are wrapping GDC's concern. On my behalf, I'm really happy that these people are officially no more a part of us, because we don't want to be going to the State House with irresponsible leaders who cannot uphold to their words and their promises. So I will give our PRO the word to give the word of thanks for the people watching and those present here. I will invite Honorable Amidou Jallo to give the closing remarks on behalf of the GDC party. Honorable Jallo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marie. Should I speak in Wolof or English? Your choice. So they are saying that let me do it in Fula. Are you okay with that? Yes, no problem. Any language. Okay, thank you so much. First of all, do I put the yow terende ko casami ko yo mi hal min non halam hewani hen hande danaka ko jarnugol onon arbe be e minen be tawdo on be ko dum woni liggeyam e programme waye do am fuddo hala ka taw ko party leadership o ko ben jinmi yar jarno ko fuddori honorable Mama Kande, Deputy Party Leader 1, Honorable Tina Fall, Deputy Party Leader 2, Honorable Amadou Ka, National Spokesperson, my boss, Honorable Umar Sise, Honorable Alaji Eshow, the National President of the party, Honorable Henry Jao, and the entire executive. We don't salmina onon fof, onon jarna onon fof. Ko gokkudon ko PRO opportunity o en pour o wawa noddu oɗo press conference pour o laɓɓina ko nantuma hoorema ko ɗum kan haala yaltiɗe balɗe because haala ka heewi gila hanki speaker o okkiri oɗo statement radio ji ɗi fof danaka ko haala wota so yaltugol ni waɗa oɗo press conference mi sikkina moƴƴi because laɓɓinat ko ganantuma hoorema laaɓani he woɓɓe because woɓɓe no naniri ni haala ka woniri ni na serti way ɗum ɗo hande onon so on jeeyi onon di media oɗon keeɓi responsibility mon oɗo en hande ko jewon laɓɓinon ko laaɓano ko ɓay on kettinoma ngoya sengo joni noon on kettima ngoga sengo at least by now on poti waw andu oɗo gonga ka heeri te gonga ka enen fof ɗon gandiɗo ka heeri on that note miɗo salmina executive members wonɓe ɓeɗo fof miɗon salmina onon e media house ji gonɗi ɗiɗo fof miɗo salmina the entire GDC supporters wonɓe ɓeɗo yoɓe ngala ɓeɗo fof miɗo salmina yimɓe Gambia fof wonɓe ɓeɗo heɓe ngala ɓeɗo fof on jarama Jeff, thank you so much.
No, bana.